What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal SpazPhoenix, the YWC Reality Check, back here with Road Signs 2013. This is not the Raw review. It's going to be hit or miss with the Raw reviews for the next little while, and it's not for the same reason as most people. Oh, Raw sucks, I refuse to talk about it, but I'm going to make a video talking about how I'm not talking about Raw. It's just that most of the stuff that happens on Raw is going to make it into one of these Road Signs episodes, because basically, whether we like it or not, everything that happens on Raw is building to WrestleMania. Everything that happens on SmackDown is building to WrestleMania. Everything that happens on Superstars is building to WrestleMania. Everything that happens anywhere is leading to WrestleMania. So anything poignant from Raw is going to be a part of Road Signs, so doing the Raw review itself seems kind of redundant. I may do it, I may not, if there's something spectacular. If they do an entirely spectacular show that needs to be talked about from beginning to end, I will definitely do it, but mostly these videos are going to be done whenever I do them. So leading into WrestleMania, there's going to be a little less structure on this channel than usual, but not to fret. I'm not becoming one of the other guys. I'm not turning my back. I'm not, hating on anything. It's just a change in format, I guess you could say. So what I want to do in this episode is we are in the very, very preliminary stages. As far as going down the road to WrestleMania, we're just sort of warming up our engines, I guess. If I want to be really cliche, then stop beeping at me because I'm doing a video, just saying. What I want to do here is I want to talk about the seeds. I want to talk about the seeds of the rivalries and the seeds of the stories that we may or may not see leading into WrestleMania. And, fuck, I got home today, started making notes before I knew it. I had 2 pages, so yeah. Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett defeated Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, who defeated The Miz, who was on a push after he came back from doing the Marine. So Miz was on a push, Kofi beat him, Wade Barrett beat him. Wade Barrett's basically been destroying everybody, and just recently on Raw this week got put over by Orton in a fantastic match. Got put over cleanly by Randy Orton. John Cena, take notes, etc. Main problem with Wade Barrett at the moment is he's dominant in a mid-card that is not exactly as thick and diverse as it could be. So he doesn't have a specific feud right now, which leaves him without direction, but at the same time it leaves him open to destroy anybody without discrimination. So whatever he does, whoever gets in his way in the meantime until they find him a story, he's just going to amass a pile of bodies, and it's going to be it will be a more impressive sort of short-lived streak than Ryback's, because people will actually give a shit. Wade Barrett's a fantastic Intercontinental Champion. I miss Miz as Intercontinental Champion, obviously, but Wade Barrett's doing a fine job. If Wade Barrett was in the World Heavyweight title picture at the moment, not the WWE title picture, let me differentiate there, but if Wade Barrett was either in the world title picture or carrying that belt right now, it wouldn't hurt my feelings in the slightest. The fact that they've sort of sidetracked him onto the Intercontinental title surprises me a lot, but we'll see where he goes. I do predict that he will be a force in the Rumble. I do predict that he will be in one of the chamber matches, but he won't win. And I do predict that he will be defending his Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania against somebody. I just wouldn't be able to tell you who right now. Sheamus and Orton. Now, Sheamus and Orton is a different kind of deal. Because of Alberto Del Rio, Sheamus has been ousted from the World Heavyweight Championship title picture. Thank fucking God. And Orton has really gone around SmackDown just making everybody else look good right now. But they've teased dissension between the two of these guys. And if they tease dissension between these two guys, because we know these guys can have a decent rivalry, Randy Orton manages to pull some magic and actually make something Sheamus is involved in worth watching. There's not a lot of depth in Sheamus's character, so if somebody's going to make a drastic heel turn that actually has some meaning, not only because of his character, but because, people actually give a shit and people have been wanting him to turn heel for a long time now, an Orton heel turn will be a lot more impactful at this point. But here's the twist, is Sheamus and Orton, along with others, have all been victimized by the Shield. So how can he turn heel if all these faces are unifying against the Shield? What I predict is they'll be joining Ryback he'll be joining Sheamus and Ryback in the short term as a television feud to deal with the Shield. I predict Sheamus and Orton will have their you know, a mini scuffle, or one will eliminate the other, or one will screw over the other in the Rumble match. They will have a mini altercation in the chamber. Orton will somehow somewhere in the middle there, Orton will do something that signals or signifies to us that he has become a heel. They'll go at it at Mania. There doesn't need to be any belts involved. Orton doesn't need any more belts, and Sheamus doesn't deserve a belt, but it'll be an okay match if that's the way they decide to go. Antonio Cesaro versus The Miz. Now, there's a lot of things surprising going on here. Miz turning face was fantastic. Like I said, at TLC, they had the tag team match, him and Alberto Del Rio versus 3MB. Now, if anybody had told you a month ago or 2 months ago that that Alberto Del Rio and The Miz were going to be the face team in a tag team match, nobody would have believed you. But Miz has done this face turn. He's still cocky as hell, which is entertaining. He's doing Miz TV, which has him on the screen constantly. He's doing his commentary thing on Main Event. He's in the middle of a big push. He's getting the rub from people like Ric Flair, which is great. And Antonio Cesaro is a solid worker in the ring, whereas he's letting Miz be the showman, and he's going to be the workhorse in the matches when this rivalry gets off the ground. I hope they save the climax of this rivalry for Mania. I think it could do great things for the US title. It'll do great things for Antonio Cesaro, and it'll have a prominent spot for The Miz at WrestleMania, who we know is not going to be near the WWE title picture again where he deserves to be, but it will definitely solidify him a spot at, the granddaddy of them all, as they say. Ric Flair on Miz TV was just fun. People are overanalyzing that to death. Ric Flair on Miz TV was just fun. I think it's funny that The Miz is growing his, his arsenal, because he's got that wicked back and neck breaker that he does. He has a couple different modified corner moves. He has the skull crushing finale, obviously. He has the Wizard of Oz. He's started using Eat Defeat on Main Event, and now he's apparently using the Figure 4. Big spoiler alert for SmackDown. Anyways, Flair is right, really, for somebody to work with The Miz, because Flair was always full of him. So whether he was playing a face, whether he was playing a heel, he was always, the kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing, limousine-riding, jet-flying, arrogant guy. Whether he was a face or heel was basically determined by whether the guy he was facing was a face or a heel. And I think that's the same route they're going to take with The Miz, and it works, because even if he's a face, he's going to be a cocky as hell face. He's going to be along the lines of an Edge, like I've said for years, which has always gotten me shot in the face. He's going to be on the lines of somebody like Jericho. He's going to be along the lines of what they'll do with Ziggler if they ever turn Ziggler face. They're not going to be John Cena's, and that's good, because we don't need John Cena's. The superheroes that tell you to say your vitamin and eat your prayers, brother, we don't need it. You can be a face and still have an edge. You can be a face and still be an asshole. Look at Sheamus stealing Alberto Del Rio's car. Not that I hold Sheamus up as the finest example of what a babyface should be, but I'm saying it can work. Tag team title situation. Oh, yes. Tag team title situation is this. Hell No is winning all over the place over Rhodes Scholars. Rhodes Scholars and Team Hell No. It's finally set down. Royal Rumble, title match. Rhodes Scholars have to take these titles away from Hell No. I say this because anybody and everybody and anybody within the sound of my voice needs to take those tag team titles away from Hell No, because they are stale as fuck. But also because of the charisma and the fluidity and the synchronization between the guys on the Rhodes Scholars team, they are so hateable that they will put an instant pop behind anybody they face. My two predictions: they will win the tag team championships at the Royal Rumble. They will get lost in the shuffle over the Elimination Chamber, which will be kind of sad. I can see it being like the tag team championships aren't defended because one of them ends up qualifying for the Elimination Chamber or something dumb like that. But I do predict at WrestleMania that the Team Rhodes Scholars will be defending against either Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara or the Usos, if the Usos continue to get pushed on mainstream TV like they have been in the past little while. Couple of good things happen from this. We have Kane versus Bryan at Mania. Possibly we see Kane go up against another monster. Maybe we see Kane actually turn back into the monster. Kane goes up against Ryback. It takes Ryback out of our way. Everybody's happy. Daniel Bryan eventually gets into a title picture. a title picture. I don't even care if it's the world title, WWE, I don't care. Give him the Intercontinental title. He'll do good things with it. Let him be a singles wrestler, please, for the love of God. But it's time for somebody else to hold the tag team gold. Rhodes Scholars are there. Ray and Sin Cara are there. The Usos are there. And yes, I know, everybody shits on the Usos because they're not a main event tag team, just because all the other tag teams are made up of main event singles wrestlers, but they are a tag team. They have historical history and family history in wrestling. They have the charisma, they have the in-ring ability. Give them a shot at WrestleMania. And no, I don't mean on the YouTube pre-show a la last year, which was bullshit. But anyways, moving on. Alberto Del Rio and the Big Show. This is going to be fun. Alberto Del Rio is another one that nobody's really buying as a face. I buy it 110%. I'm saying now what I have said for years when he was a heel. There are elements. And no, I'm not saying he's Eddie Guerrero 2.0. I'm not saying he's the second coming of Latino Heat. But there are elements of a character like Eddie Guerrero in Alberto Del Rio, and he showed it as a heel, now he's showing it as a face. The charisma, the ability to, now that they're supposed to be in the palm of his hand, for him to have the crowd in the palm of his hand. He had the crowd chanting C louder than any other chants that happened on Raw this week. Just saying. He got the nod from Vince McMahon, which is awesome. Vince McMahon and he together made Big Show look like an idiot. He pulled off it was either a head scissor or an enziguri, if my memory serves me correctly, on the Big Show. That's impressive. And again, it's like Randy Orton with Sheamus. If you can make me care about something involving the Big Show, then you've done something. And why did he make me care? Not only because the way he fought on SmackDown when he won the title, he fought like the belt was important, he won like the belt was important, and he celebrated like the belt was important. And that makes all the difference in the world. Like I say, he's got the backing of Vince McMahon now, which is awesome. He's going to bring in a new demographic, which everybody seems to hum and haw over, but it is important for the WWE to address all their different demographics. I mean, they've been addressing their Irish demographic for how long now? You know, time to emphasize the Hispanic, Mexican, whatever the term is, crowd. The Latino crowd. That's the word that they keep throwing around. Other important things about this, it broke up the endless cycle of Sheamus versus the Big Show matches that we were having that were boring as hell. And eventually, because there's no way Big Show's getting the belt back. Like, he's going to have his rematch at the Royal Rumble. He's going to lose. He's going to go wallow off into obscurity. He's another one that can go fight Ryback. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that Kane and Big Show are going to go fight Ryback because Ryback deserves it. I'm saying it's John Cena 2.0 booking. You are super awesome if you can lift up the Big Show. You are super awesome if you can stand toe-to-toe with Kane. There are things that I predict happening. But anyways, once we get the Big Show out of the way, the next logical step is Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler. And as far as two workhorses in the ring, putting on a good, compelling match and leaving it all in the ring, that's what I can't wait for. Yes, Ziggler's going to cash in, do a heel thing, do a sneaky tactic, whatever, and quickly get the belt. But that's going to lead to a rematch, and those rematches are going to be amazing. Whether they happen at Chamber, whether they happen at Mania, whether they happen after Mania. Can you imagine if this thing stretches out for a long time? Can you imagine an I Quit match? Or dare I say it, dare I wish, an Iron Man match between Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio. Nothing but positives can come out of this, and I am, me personally, because I'm a huge fan, I am so happy for Alberto Del Rio right now to get the recognition that he deserves, finally, and not be a champion that's overshadowed by people like Punk and John Cena. It's good, because, I mean, even if you're the champion for a month, even if you're a champion for a couple of weeks, you deserve to have the spotlight of the championship, at least while you hold it. I mean, if you lose the belt and wallow back into obscurity like some people have, Jack Swagger, just saying, then fine. But you deserve to have the spotlight of the championship while you're the champion. And Alberto Del Rio seems to be legitimately getting that. And that's a big change from, say, the WWE title, where CM Punk's had it for well over a year now, and he's still overshadowed by guys like The Rock and guys like John Cena. Just saying. Something SmackDown has gotten right. And that's awesome. Speaking of champions, we have a new champion in Caitlyn, because Caitlyn defeated Eve on Raw, became the new women's champion because Eve quit the company. Now this is kind of unfortunate because apparently this was supposed to happen at the Royal Rumble so that both of them could have a pay-per-view stage, so that they could have a Divas Lumberjack match, so that a lot more Divas could get a Royal Rumble payday. All that stuff, all those potentials did not happen, which is very, very unfortunate. But long run, Caitlyn has pulled this great, struggling babyface story against the odds, against the cowardly heel story a long way. She's, tongue-tied, sorry guys. If you take a look at it, the struggling babyface and the cowardly heel, and they've played it out over several months. How many months ago was it that she was supposedly attacked in the back and didn't get her title shot, and then it happened the following month, and I think there was some cheap shot tactics, and then, Eve ran away, and she's finally gotten the gold. Yes, it's a very, very cliche story, but you've seen the frustration, and you've seen the character build up in Caitlyn to the point that, much like Alberto Del Rio, when she won, it meant something. Now, was it a tremendous, big, earth-shattering moment? No, because it's the Divas division, and the Divas division never gets that much intensity in their booking, but for the Divas division, this was a win that felt good for everybody. Intensity was there. Caitlyn rocked a wicked spear to take out Eve at the end of that match. The way she celebrated even on the Backstage Fallout on WWE's YouTube channel that I watched, yeah, she was crying. And yeah, some people might have found that lame. Some people might say it was overacted and whatever, but show emotion. Show happiness when you win. Show anger when you lose. Show that the championship that you just have over your shoulder for the first time actually means something. In short, don't be John Cena. But anyways, the only thing I can see happening going forward, she'll take on a few random challengers. She'll take on people like Tamina, who doesn't get the credit she deserves, which is unfortunate. She'll take on Natalya, who doesn't get the credit that she deserves, which is also unfortunate. Maybe she'll go back to NXT and have a couple exhibition matches with some of the girls on NXT. Side note, please bring Paige to Raw. Just saying. But eventually, there's really only one end to this, and that is that at WrestleMania, Caitlyn needs to fight AJ for the championship. AJ is the prominent diva in the WWE, and she doesn't even wrestle that much. If you take the most prominent diva and the diva with the championship, which means supposedly she's the best in-ring diva, put them against each other, you might actually have a marquee-level divas match at WrestleMania. What a concept. Rock and Punk. Not going to say much about Rock and Punk because the awesomeness of Rock and Punk is overstated already, but Punk, past 2 weeks, has had pipe bombs for everybody. Speaking a lot of truth, talking up a lot of the talents that don't get a lot of recognition, which is great. Even though he was putting down Brodus Clay, the fact that the WWE champion for 420 whatever days even got in the ring with Brodus Clay and made him look like somewhat of a force is an effort on CM Punk's part. The fact that he's been the champion for this long and they've not seen any point of taking it off of him, the fact that he's breaking through that glass ceiling and even has a match with The Rock is great. The mic work. We all knew back at Raw 1000 that if these guys actually went full bore, pedal to the metal with this feud, the mic work between these two guys would be awesome. Now, CM Punk, we know what we're getting. We're getting fourth wall, we're getting, spoiler type stuff, we're getting, the real nitty gritty, this is what's wrong with wrestling type promos that we all love because they are saying everything that we want to say. And The Rock just says dumb shit, right? The Rock's fans are fans of what The Rock does. So The Rock does what the people that want to see him do. That's what I will say about The Rock's comedy, but follow me on this for a second, and you may not agree, but please follow me on this thought for 1 second. They did the Rock concert again, with the jokes and the guitar and, this and that, and karaoke and singing along with the crowd and all that. And it's all well and fine, but he proved a good point in this one. When he did the Rock concert about John Cena, he sang a bunch of songs making fun of John Cena because that's all they did. All they did was verbal barb, back and forth, till Mania, and they never touched, and everything they said to each other was dumb. Now, what did he do this time? He sang stupid song about Paul Heyman, stupid song about Vicky Guerrero, which was awesome. And then he called CM Punk out, and they had a battle of the words before they went off the air, which is great and which is important because it gives this message. Yes, I'm here to entertain. Yes, I'm going to make jokes. Yes, I'm going to do all the comedy that some people think is immature. Yes, I'm going to come and I'm going to make people laugh and I'm going to make people look dumb. CM Punk, when I'm looking at you, when I'm talking to you, shit just got real. I'm going to take your title at the Royal Rumble. That is the difference between this and his rivalry with Cena. He's coming in, he's having all the fun, this and that and the next thing. He's throwing out every entertaining, comical thing he can, but he's in both promos so far, he's brought it back to looking him right in the face, says, time's up, Royal Rumble, I'm taking your belt. That's the difference, and that's what I love, that he can be entertaining. The Rock and Triple H are very similar in this way. If you take a look at, like, the game Triple H, the Cerebral Assassin Triple H, and DX Triple H, look at Raw 1000. Out there having the goofiest fun you can ever possibly imagine, with DX, with all of his old friends doing all the crotch chops, making fun of Damian Sandow, whatever. And then as intense as you want to be when it got to the Brock Lesnar shit with talking about his family and all that sort of thing. The Rock can do that on a dime, just like Triple H can do it on a dime. He can make fun of Heyman for being fat and having twinkie tits and all that, and, you know, sings the song about Vicky Guerrero, you know, biatch, you look horrible tonight, which was hysterical, and if you're saying it wasn't, you're lying. And then he can turn on a dime and say, shit just got serious, Punk, look out, 13 more days, I'm taking your belt, get used to it. That is the effectiveness of The Rock. In this day and age, in 2013, in his rivalry with CM Punk, in his match at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship, joke when it's time to joke, get serious when you talk about going for the WWE Championship, and that's the awesome part of this rivalry. The other awesome part of this rivalry, oh my god, they actually had a brawl. Oh my god, they actually touched more than just, well, I got you with my finisher 25 weeks ago, you're gonna get me with your finisher tonight. No, they had a brawl. They both got sick of talking. For two guys that are so great on the mic to sort of right around the same time, you know, have that feeling of, okay, I'm sick of talking, time to let my fists do the talking, time to let, you know, my knees and feet and kicks and punches and all those sort of things do the talking for me. And they did, and they scrapped and end Raw. And after the cameras went off the air, they scrapped again, which is going to be a video that I'm going to tack on the end of this video if anybody wants to watch it. There's intensity there. There's realism there. There's everything that there wasn't in the Rock-Cena rivalry that Rock can do and couldn't do last year because Cena can't. With Punk, he can, and that's why this is so good. This is the thing. He's dealing with a guy this time that he can push more barriers with CM Punk, who's definitely a bad guy. So it's okay. This is going to be amazing. I'm tired. I can't be as excited. I'm always tired when I do. I don't know why I tell you guys that I'm tired. I'm always doing these videos at, like, you know, 5 to midnight, 10 after midnight, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm never not tired when I'm doing these videos. Excuse me. But I wish I could do these when I'm more awake so that I could more properly express all the good elements of this. Because it's not like Ric Flair coming back. It's not like Hogan and Sting still trying to wrestle. It's not like Piper coming back for one night. Rock is a part-time guy. Not a guy from the roster. He's come back for a couple of matches here and there. But he can still go. Which does a hell of a lot more for a guy like CM Punk than a match with Ric Flair would, even though I would mark for a match between Punk and Flair just because I'm a Flair fan. The Rock, even though Punk doesn't need the help, it's like him being paired with Heyman. The last person that needs help on the microphone is CM Punk, but put a microphone in Heyman's hand and put him next to him, it's going to add something. You put him with somebody like The Rock, who could, if he wanted to, put over anybody on the roster. Let's be honest. Anybody that has any interaction with The Rock. How much did friggin' Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes get from that interaction that they had on SmackDown? It wasn't much, but it was a little something. It was a little something on their top shelf of their career. They got to trade words in the ring with The Rock. And it's the same thing with CM Punk. He doesn't need it, but it's going to boost him anyway. This match is going to be great. Is the ending a foregone conclusion? Yeah, I'm about 99% sure that it's a foregone conclusion. I read the spoilers just like you do. but it's going to be a fun ride. And if somebody's going to end CM Punk's title reign, thank God it's not John Cena. Because I'm sorry, The Rock in 2 matches a year does more for the WWE, and yes, swallow this hard because it's true, than John Cena does by dominating everybody in fucked up fashion all year. Oh, yes. Now, those are some of the stories that we have right now. I could get into the Ziggler-Cena fiasco, but I'm not going to do it in this video. I probably will do it either later this week or next week. But I have a couple of discussion questions for you guys, and this is just to encourage, you know, conversation, debate, whatever. A couple of questions I just want to toss out to you guys to think about. Who will benefit most from the promo that CM Punk cut last week on Raw, out of all the people that he mentioned? He mentioned how Brodus Clay should be a monster when really he's just shucking and jiving with the kids and looking like an idiot. He mentioned that Daniel Bryan is one of the best guys, one of the best in-ring performers on the roster, and he's reduced to this shitty hell no gimmick with the catchphrases and bullshit, and where he should be in a world title picture. He talked about Tyson Kidd, who's a workhorse in the back on the roster when he doesn't even get as much time on TV as Little Jimmy. Now, after all that, the following week, Brodus Clay got a match with the champ. Daniel Bryan is about to lose his tag team championship, which is going to help him in the long run. And Tyson Kidd got a huge friggin' article on WWE.com, and I'm pretty sure would be getting a push right now if he hadn't, I don't know, shattered his kneecap. So in the long run, out of those 3 guys that Punk mentioned in his promo, who's going to benefit from the most? Who's going to benefit from that rub from CM Punk the most? Clay, Bryan, or Kidd? Toss your answers in the box below. I'd love to hear some people's reactions. Now, something else that I read in WWE.com recently is they're really talking about obscure rules and obscure flexes of the rules that have happened in the past. People that have shared titles, large teams that have carried the tag team championships together, etc., etc. It all falls under the umbrella of being called the Freebird rule. Now, we have 2 3-man teams in the WWE right now. We have 3MB, who's a comedy shtick, and we have the Shield, who's a force, who's basically taking out everybody. Now, how would it work in this day and age if either the comedy team or the Shield, who are basically dominating everybody, were able to get their hands on the tag team championships and defend it under the Freebird rule, which is basically anytime you have to defend the tag team titles, any 2 people from that team could defend the belts. How would that change the dynamic of the tag team division? How would it change the dynamic within those teams? And how would it change the dynamic of whatever, you know, normal tag teams were going up against them? I think it opens up a Pandora's box of opportunity, but I would love to hear what you guys think down in the box below. And the last one is a very simple question. Going into WrestleMania, because I really hope he has a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, who should Wade Barrett defend the Intercontinental Championship against? If he wasn't injured, my answer would be Tyson Kidd, all the way. But I'd love to hear what your answers are in the box below. Now, let's talk about the Hall of Fame. And this conversation would have been different if I had it yesterday, if I hadn't read what I read today. Oh, yes. But on Raw, Mick Foley came out and he was technically announced, as the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2013. And we figure, because he's a pretty big name, because he's pretty damn popular, and because he's the first name announced, he's going to be the one headlining the Hall of Fame. Now, I'll get to that in a second. Next rumor we heard was King Kong Bundy, which I'm pretty neutral on. I really don't care one way or the other. But the big one, the one that's flooded over all the dirt sheets in the past 24 hours, as a unit, all 5 members of D-Generation X are going to be headlining 2013's Hall of Fame induction. Now, that's a rumor, and technically we can't believe that until we see it on our television screens, but I've told you, especially during the road to WrestleMania, especially when I do this series, Road Signs, I do lend a little more credence to the rumors, not necessarily because I believe they're true, but because they're a lot more fun to think about and do, you know, fantasy booking and what if and da-da-da-da-da. Because here's the thing. Big Shawn Michaels mark right here. Shawn Michaels would join Ric Flair as the only 2 two-time inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame, being that Ric Flair was inducted as a singles wrestler and inducted as the Horseman. Shawn Michaels has already been inducted as a singles wrestler, well deservingly so. He would be inducted again as a member of DX. Now, the other opportunity that opens up is Triple H could be the first three-time inductee if they ever decide to induct Evolution, which I could see happening. I'm not going to lie. Because Triple H, you know, is going to get a singles Hall of Fame induction eventually. Randy Orton is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame eventually. You better get used to that idea. Actually, I guess if they inducted Evolution, Flair would be a three-time inductee, too. Wow. We're collecting jewelry on the road to WrestleMania. But there's your Hall of Fame so far, in fact and in rumor. Foley, Bundy, and the entirety of D-Generation X. Now, you guys know how I'm ending off these up until the Rumble. Rumble so far: Cena, Orton, Sheamus, Ziggler, Barrett, Mahal, McIntyre, Slater, and Antonio Cesaro are the official announced entrants in the WWE 2013 Royal Rumble. Of those announced so far, who would you have win? Put it down in the box below. Also, for those of you that have been watching me for longer than a year, I will, in the next week or so, be announcing the 2013 YWC Royal Rumble Appreciation Lottery. So look for that. Those of you who know what it is, know what it is. If you don't, go back a year and see what it is. It's a lot of fun. I think you guys will enjoy it. I'm done. It's time for me to go to bed. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep these conversations going all the way to WrestleMania. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
13 days, my ass. I say, just bring it.